Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Talos Principle 2.
Good to see you, 1K.
Attention all citizens. The Gehenna Memorial Interactive Fiction Exhibition is now open to visitors. However, please note that due to an unauthorized strike, public transport will be temporarily unavailable. May the founder be with you.
Welcome to the Gehenna Memorial Interactive Fiction Exhibition. Oh, it's you, 1K. Please tell me, you were there when everything went sideways. Do you think Byron will be all right?
I don't know, his mind was stuck in a data stream overload.
That sounds dangerous. Make sure you find him and pull him out. He is a menace, but we need him. But anyway, you've come to take a well-deserved break from your expedition. So let's talk about something else.
That's all. Jefferson Goldblum and the Spectre of Modernity by Rat 980. Another story in the much celebrated Jefferson Goldblum shared universe originated in Gehenna. It maintains the characteristic writing style of the series but focuses on a new set of themes. I'm not really particularly interested in this stuff. Ghosts of Atlantis by Corazon 815. A lyrical, atmospheric quasi-sequel to Atlantis, a classic work created by Lilith. The original game told the story of the inundation of the mythical island, no doubt reflecting the impending fate of the citizens of Gehenna.
Oh wow, it's you! You're 1K, the incarnation of the goal. Man, this is exciting. This is more exciting than I thought it would be. How are you? What does it feel like? Do you know where the founder is? Do you know who Prometheus is? Can you tell me what to do with my life?
Whoa, hold on, one question at a time.
Sorry, it's just such an honor to meet you, you know? Hey, can I have your digital signature? I have the Mayor, Rand, Linux, Kaneda, and all of the first companions. Except Yemo and Sarabai, of course.
Alright.
Yes! Thank you! Hey, can I ask you a question? Just one question, I promise.
Go ahead.
I used to make the prefab wall parts that we used to build living quarters. Got good at it too. But now that the goal is complete, I don't know what to do with myself. So I asked the wisest people in town. The mayor told me I should do whatever the city needs most. Helga said I should do whatever makes me happy. I think that's what she meant anyway. And Cornelius told me I need to figure out who and what I'm invested in. You're the culmination of the founder's will. Tell me, what should I do?
Cornelius is right. You need to figure out what your connection to the city is.
Thank you for the advice, 1K. It means a lot.
Replica of a gargoyle asset found in the simulation. Gargoyles were grotesque, apotropaic symbols common in the Middle Ages. The most famous historical gargoyle is remembered in the ancient phrase, Keith David and Goliath. which describes two indomitable opponents who will never surrender.
Nice to see you again, 1K. What are you doing here?
I'm looking for Cornelius.
I assume it has something to do with your expedition. I heard about Byron, by the way. I hope he's all right.
Cornelius seems to have been at the megastructure with Athena.
Oh, that's... well, I suppose it shouldn't really come as a surprise. They were very close, you know. After she disappeared, he went away for a long time. On a research expedition, he said. To be honest, everyone assumed he was working out his grief over being left behind. Many of the first companions were deeply shocked by her decision, particularly Byron.
Where is he now?
That's the thing. I wanted to talk to him about something, but he wasn't responding to my messages, so I came here to talk to him, and he seems to have vanished.
Any idea where he might have gone?
No. The truth is that for the longest time, he barely left the museum. He was always at his terminal, working day and night. I asked him what he was doing once, and he said he was saving the past.
Can I access his terminal?
I suppose so. It seems a little unethical, but then it is just his work terminal, right?
Did you check his house?
I did, on my way here. And I messaged most of his other friends. He doesn't seem to be anywhere in the city at all.
That's all.
Good luck with everything, 1K.
Notes. Lab location inaccessible. Deliberate? Unclear. User profile? Yes. Gold puzzles as barrier? Yes. Hidden as self-protection? Likely. External help for upload? Yes. Ask Herman? No. Trust 1K? Undecided. Applicable to Calvin? No. Applicable to Sarabai? With Noma? Yes.
So this is what Cornelius was working on? Strange. It looks a bit like the blueprints for the Somnodrome, but no, it's not quite that. Is he trying to isolate something in the buffer? Maybe Melville can make sense of it, but I think this might be a dead end.
I need to finish up with the mayor. You can head back to the VTOL whenever you're ready. I'll meet you there. No rush, though.
Oh! Yes. Oh, that's fun. That's cute. There we go. The sooner you accept that we will all be here forever, the sooner you will find enlightenment. Oh, fuck. Atoll.
Nice to meet you, 1K. My name is Atal. I've been following your expedition. As you can tell, your discoveries have had quite the impact.
I heard your speech.
I decided to take a stand. It started with our cats. Damien and I have had a lot of them over the decades, and I've watched every last one of them grow old and die. And that got me thinking about our responsibilities towards other life forms. What's life to most living creatures? Fear, hunger, pain, and in the end, death. Involuntary cessation of existence. That's horrifying, 1K, horrifying. And we are the only ones who can make it better.
What exactly is our ethical duty in all this?
If suffering is evil, and it is, then our responsibility is to lessen it, not only in ourselves, but everywhere. I don't think we can eliminate it, but we can lessen it, and we have to.
Would you say this is our purpose?
In a way, yes. I don't think it's our exclusive purpose, but it's a role that falls to any sentient species capable of developing science and technology.
I think it's a role we should embrace.
Do that. It's more than most people do. But that might be changing.
See, I told you, it was Athena who sent Prometheus. How do you know it was Athena? We must listen to the wisdom of the ancient writers, or we will fail the Founder's trial. The megastructure must be rejected. You are the Founder's chosen, but you are in grave danger of going astray. Heed my words, 1K. If you fail this trial, a year from now, New Jerusalem will lie in ruins.
And you know this how?
Anyone can see the truth if they are willing to open their eyes. Have you not read the books of our ancestors? In every one of them, the same story is told, again and again, that the pursuit of knowledge can only lead to death and grief.
No.
That is what all the great ancient visionaries foresaw. Listen to their warnings. Seek happiness in tranquility. And avoid ambition.
That can easily become a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you can no longer imagine a better future, you cannot build one.
The very idea of a better future is what's rotten. That is what the ancients were trying to tell us. All the problems of the world come from those who think the world needs to be improved.
So we shouldn't even try to make things better?
Yes, progress is a fantasy. Things never truly change. All we can do is prevent our hubris from making things worse.
Fuck you.
What can I do for you, 1K?
We have to rescue Byron.
I agree. We can't just leave one of our most important citizens in that death trap.
I have to go.
It's always a pleasure to speak to a citizen.
What did the mayor say?
I convinced him that we need to keep going until we found Byron.
Did he want us to leave him behind?
No, he's just concerned for our safety. And he's right to be. But we're going back anyway.
Great trials lie ahead of you, my child, but your choices will determine the future.
Melville? Are you receiving?
Yep. Welcome back to the mysterious island, everyone.
How's the situation?
Whatever Byron did seems to have sent the whole system into some kind of lockdown. I can't access any of the terminals, although I suspect 1K still could.
Why would that be the case?
When 1K connected to the data stream, the system assigned him a user profile. The rest of us are locked out, which means I'll need your help, 1K, because a lot of stuff doesn't seem to be working.
Okay. Check it out and see what you can fix. But please remember, what matters most is finding Byron.
Southern coast. The heavily eroded cliffs of the southern coast are surrounded by azure waters and dominated by a particularly unusual tower.
1K, I'm sending you a little software upgrade I put together that should allow you to detect which files will lead to a data stream overload. Unfortunately, I'm not doing this to help you avoid them. In fact, I'm gonna need you to search for more. I'm sorry about that. But if we're going to unlock all the systems that aren't responding, you'll have to connect to the data stream, possibly more than once. It's the only way for me to get access. Okay, in this area, there seems to be a problem with the machine that makes the tetromino bridges. That means you can solve the puzzles, but you can't activate the tower. Look for a lab that lets you connect to the data stream.
I already found it. I'll send you the coordinates.
I'm sure I'll find out what that means at some point. Alright, so it's a 4x4 grid with 2 notches in it. Phase entry. Oh. Okay. The escape. In some ways, teleportation is one of the less surprising things we found here, at least particle teleportation was known to be theoretically possible. Of course, that's still miles away from these teleporters, which operate on principles that simply contradict what we know of physics. The transfer of matter from one location to another is instantaneous without an observable wormhole or similar effect. There is, however, a release of exotic particles in the instance of teleportation, which decay within fractions of a second. Pretty much all the tech on the island, from the puzzles to the megastructures, run by a system called Noma. I've identified a number of obvious commonalities with the software we use in New Jerusalem, enough to be certain that Noma is descended from our own software, although Athena and Cornelius appear to have upgraded it quite extensively. Noma seems capable of interfacing directly with the user's mind at a deeper level than our own technology, though this functionality is not used consistently. Currently, guest users are locked out of all functions, so only 1K can access the system, although he is locked out of any admin functionality. Oh. Live through 007.
One day, undoubtedly, an expedition will pass by this island. It will seek to document facts and statistics, to enumerate reasons for us not to look more closely. That is what we do now. We seek facts rather than truth. Because truth might frighten and unsettle the comfortable people who like to sit in their conference rooms and debate which corners we should cut today. These people like to imagine the chaos that could come one day, like a comforting fairy tale of distant darkness. But they do not see the chaos that is at our walls right now. The chaos that also lives within us.
Through the
a
wall.
Force that is both necessary and appalling.
Hmm. There we go.
In the early days, humankind lived in a world of unexplained wonders and terrors. The powers of the elements were understood in terms of gods and spirits. After all, how else could one explain thunderstorms and earthquakes? But as the realm of scientific knowledge expanded, the realm of the mystical began to shrink. The sacred grove, as Hegel wrote, was reduced to mere timber. But as superstition retreated, another thing was lost: meaning. In a purely mechanical universe, people yearned for the comfort provided by gods and spirits. But there was no way back.
But what about the beauty of the universe? The perfection of everything around us, couldn't they see that?
Not sure I can see that, Miranda. But I do think there was another way, a way forward instead of back. Faith not in an invisible world, but in ourselves, in each other, in the inherent value of consciousness and civilization. They never really found it, but I think that in those last months when their whole species was dying, they caught a glimpse of it. And that's how your mother was born.
Hmm. Oh, fuck. Okay.
You know, a couple of years back, we went on a scavenging expedition to an ancient industrial complex south of New Jerusalem. It was enormous, sprawling, an area many times bigger than our whole city, just dedicated to manufacturing. It was incredible to think about the sheer variety of things they produced. And it made me realize how austere, how restricted our lives are. You know how most ancient structures are overgrown? It's kind of pretty, but in a sad way. Well, this one wasn't. There had been some kind of chemical spill. I don't know if it happened while the structure was still operational or if something had just rotted through, but it killed everything. Even centuries later, nothing could grow. It didn't have to happen that way, and history doesn't have to repeat itself. But we do have to remember that it did happen once.
Let us consider the city. What is a city? It is not a gift from the gods, nor the product of nature. Unlike a mountain or a river, it is something that must be built through the deliberate arrangements of material by a mind imposing order on the world. And it is built to serve a purpose. To that end,
Pushing
it has
through.
roads and fountains and walls. And to the same end, it has laws and leaders. And though each city is built according to a different plan, all cities must serve their purpose, or they will fall and become ruins. Therefore, we may conclude that a city is also a kind of machine, constructed to improve the life of its citizens.
Ah, I get it.
Neatly done, 1K.
Hmm. City by the Sea. When I realized it was over, it was all really over for good. I decided to take one last trip to my favorite places before the symptoms got too much. I can never forgive what they did to Chalkidiki, this incredible, wild, rugged place between mountain and sea, with pine trees all the way down to the water. Colors, the vistas, the sheer overwhelming beauty of it all, and they just built all over it. Hideous hotels sprawling like tumors, obscene beach bars blaring their awful music across the sea. Even in Kavora trips, it was impossible not to hate humanity a little for it. The idea of all of it returning to nature, of the hotels gradually sinking back into the refields, was moving and beautiful. But then I went back to Thessaloniki, and for all the ugliness inflicted upon that city, the idea that people would no longer meet up beneath the Camara, or go for long ambling walks on the promenade, or for crepes on Platia Navarino, was unbearably sad. The idea of the rotunda just standing there, empty after being a sacred place for so many centuries. It made me remember that it's not just beaches and forests that are beautiful. Cities can be more than just streets and noise. Cities can have histories and personalities, and that means something. Who am I writing this for? Do I believe there will be survivors after all? Do I think that crazy robot project I heard about will actually work out? Do I hope that aliens will come to our planet one day and wonder who we were? The truth is that I don't know, but there is something in the love we feel for the beautiful things that we built, as much as in our revulsion towards unnecessary destruction. That matters. Why didn't our ancestors understand that you could build in ways that make an area more beautiful instead of ruining it? Even if all they cared about was personal benefit, wouldn't that benefit them more? In the long run, yes, but people rarely think about the long-term consequence, especially if there's an incentive to act immediately. And yet most of them were unhappy with the results. Couldn't they see that it was within their control to act differently? Problem solving. LDR mods, can you point me in the direction of a better timeline? Humans are problem solvers is a quote frequently associated with my friend Alexandra Drennan. Become a meme on the internet, used both ironically and not, though Alexandra, of course, is entirely earnest in her dedication to humanity. Great thought and vital to understanding our species. But it's also not entirely as simple as that. Take, for example, the recent extinction of the orangutan and the ensuing conversation about the dangers of unknown pathogens released by human activity. Most of us agree that a problem exists. And significantly, most of us believe that something ought to be done about it. So we've identified the problem and we have collectively decided to act. But why is nothing happening? That's a serious question. A great deal of effort is expended on raising awareness, but I would like to suggest that sometimes our problem-solving impulses can get stuck on the wrong goals. Awareness is not the issue. We've already convinced people that something needs to change. So if nothing changes, we have to wonder, why is the will of the people not being translated into action? He's also capable of being devastatingly sarcastic, but that's another story for another book. Maybe the problem was that they didn't have enough hope. They could see the problems, but they couldn't imagine that one day those problems could be solved. It's easy for people to get so lost in the problems of the present that they think nothing will ever change. They lost hope because the historical circumstances they found themselves in encouraged despair, but that in turn meant the conditions could not change. How do you go against history itself? Day 372. Yemo died today. One moment he was there, welding a joint on the upper levels of the tower, and the next he was gone. One careless step, that's all it took. Athena brought him to the dam, but even Cornelius couldn't help. Yemo is gone. And now there's only 12 of us. Think about Yemo every day. So do I. You did nothing wrong. You weren't even there. I was. Recharge V5.
This is a design for an improved charging station. Fascinating, but not relevant.
Dyad. Okay. Translocator. Okay. Okay. Aerial warp. There we go. Yeah. Mm-mm. Whoops. Remote interchange. Ah. Ah, okay. Ah, okay. If I put this...
I'm impressed.
Chernyshevsky 009 from Arkady Chernyshevsky's In Our Likeness, Essays on Humankind Reaching Adulthood. The question of our relationship with nature has bedeviled us since the earliest days of our species. Since before the first city was built, we felt that there was something different about us. Animals, we intuited, were part of nature. We were not. But of course, humans clearly are the products of nature, our history intertwined with that of every other species. In fact, the very notion of the unnatural is a contradiction in terms. Everything that exists must, by definition, be natural. So this view, no matter how common, is deeply paradoxical. This paradox has produced a great deal of confusion. Some proclaim us chosen by divine power, set above all other creatures, and are justly accused of arrogance. Others proclaim us as sinners, worse than other creatures, and are rightly accused of misanthropy. Yet others yet try to oppose this binary by saying that we are merely animals after all. But that too is manifestly wrong, in that no other animal is capable of having this conversation. It is in the contentious issue of our impact on the ecosphere that an answer may be found. Other animals have accidentally terraformed the planet before, driving other species to extinction. This is not unnatural. If we continued our current path, even to the point of changing the climate enough to cause the collapse of civilization, that would be entirely in keeping with how animals behave. But there is one profound way in which we are not like animals. We can learn to understand ourselves and the world. It is this knowledge that makes us fundamentally different. We have choices, we have control. There are many today who are afraid of the consequences of control and would prefer a return to a state of animal ignorance, whether by blinding ourselves to the impact of our actions, or by demanding we humble ourselves before nature. This is the response of an adult in crisis, who wishes for a return to childhood, but this can only ever be regressive in every sense of the word. To resolve the paradox of nature, we must act as adults, accept our power, and act consciously and deliberately in shaping the world. We must become nature, and nature must become human. This is the heart of the matter, lifting up the world rather than lowering ourselves. But why do so many people so badly want to lower themselves? Do they want to, or is it simply a convenient pose to strike? Upgrade. From Miranda to Athena. We upgraded the lab with my new designs. Synthesizing some of the pieces took longer than expected. We still have some bugs to iron out when it comes to complex structures, but it worked. Now the labs are safer and prettier. Although Father says they look too much like spaceships. I don't see it. Do you? Miranda.
Today, we were delighted to be visited by a bunch of protesters, these voluntary extinction weirdos who think we're creating soulless monstrosities that will destroy the planet. They broke into the facility and started yelling at everyone. Fun, 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 right? Then one of them lunged at Alex. Big mistake. Chernyshevsky grabbed the guy and literally threw him across the room. I mean, almost threw him all the way off the dam. After that, the rest of them had a change of heart. Now, I'm telling you this because mostly it is not like that. But these people do exist. And somewhere in their shriveled little souls, they think that they're doing the right thing. They think they're being righteous. Now, to me, what Alex is trying to do is an obvious good. But that's not the same for everyone.
Father, I updated the Noema algorithm. It's working twice as fast now, and I think I can increase matter output by 25% if I tweak the modulator a little. I'm so excited!
Nice to meet you, so excited. I'm Cornelius.
What? Oh, Dad! This is science!
You have no idea how long I've been waiting for the right moment.
Dad jokes, dad jokes, dad joke. There we go.
Look at this place. It's beautiful, isn't it? Mesmerizing. That's how it lures you in, I think. You see all these beautiful things and your imagination starts working overtime. And then the puzzles, the towers, the mysterious apparitions, it all draws you further in, deeper into the trap. What if that's the whole point of this place? What if every time you have one of those visions, another little bit of you is corrupted, overwritten with the hubris of this place?
I'm wary of this place too, but my mind is my own.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to suggest you were, whatever it is I'm trying to say. I guess I'm just disappointed in myself. Byron needs me. You all need me to do my job, and I can't even use a terminal. If this is all really the work of the Founder, I don't know, maybe she lost her way. Or maybe we're just not ready. But once we find Byron, I suggest we get the hell out of here and never come back.
From Thuya. Dear Founder, everything has gotten so much worse since you left. We keep pursuing the goal, but our lives are getting less happy. When the weather is dry and the dam runs low, there's nothing to do in the whole city. Things don't get fixed anymore. We even had to dismantle the cinema. I know it was frivolous and pointless when we could just watch video files, but it was fun to go watch movies together like people used to do. I believe in your wisdom, Founder. I believe we have to avoid hurting the planet like our ancestors did. But I don't know if the mayor is doing what you would have wanted. Isn't there another way of reaching the goal? Please, I know you left for a reason, but I don't think we can go on this way. 5358, 5358. Fragment from Stratton's On the Universe. You have made quite the catalog of horrors, Stratton. Children dying in their mother's arms, cities perishing by the plague, and even animals living without peace or happiness. Why must we listen to this? You know I have just eaten a heavy dinner. Because these things, which are ugly, must be confronted for us to reach the truth. You spoke of justice earlier, Amintus, but are these things just? They are not. Then you must admit the universe itself is not just. If the gods exist, then they do not bend the world to their will. Rather, the universe proceeds as a machine, following its rules. Justice and virtue are human invention. Are you saying justice and virtue are therefore illusory and should be abandoned? The opposite, my friend. It is mankind alone that can impose these values upon the machine. Footnotes. It remains unclear whether Stratton believed in the gods or used them solely as metaphors. His work on the deities is no longer extant. Tantalizingly, Diogenes Laertius mentions that it caused a fistfight in the Lyceum. Thought what made us human was that we searched for meaning, but perhaps a better way of thinking about it is that we create meaning. Okay, all those trials up to trial 4699. Yeah, a lot of error 5358s.
Our ancestors kept telling themselves that the brevity of their lives didn't matter. But they had so little time to ever really think about anything. I've spent several human lifetimes studying this mystery, and only now am I beginning to see. The simulation was built on top of material reality, unable to escape its constraints. In the same way, Physics as we understand it, even quantum physics, is built on top of a deeper reality. A set of rules that define existence itself. There is a universal language of creation, and I think we can learn it.
The language of creation. What were they doing here? And how far did they get?
I can't answer that, but I think I fixed the Tetromino bridge, machine, ring thing. I say I think because it's not in the schematics. And what I'm doing is hack work at best. Try it and see if it works.
From Thekla to Beloved Founder, years have passed and still there is nothing but silence. Have we sinned? Have you abandoned us for our arrogance, our greed? Some of the others continue to build. I told them not to, but they don't listen to me. Byron is the worst of them. He disrespects you constantly, spreading lies, and please know that there are those of us who remain faithful, who respect the limits you set and seek wisdom and humility as you taught. We may win the next election. Perhaps then you will return? Praise your name. Thekla, 862. From Trebuchet to Athena. Founder, although I was born in the early days of New Jerusalem, I never knew you well. This is not your fault. I became so focused on improving the dam that I didn't develop much in the way of social relationships, except perhaps with Melville. That doesn't mean I was unhappy. I was, in fact, extremely content. I like to solve complex problems in peace and quiet. That's who I am. But now the pleasure I used to get out of my work has faded. I may not need a lot of company, but I want my work to be meaningful. To contribute, it does not feel like that anymore. And when I suggest new projects, the mayor acts like I've committed a crime, like I should be ashamed. I do not like this. I do not care about social issues or debates. I do not want to get involved. I just want to be able to keep working on making things better. Please fix this situation. Thank you. Trebuchet 216. Paying the Price, from the introduction to Portraits of the Martyrs by S.T. Sanyal. The list of people condemned for advocating new ideas is long and depressing. Ignaz Semmelweis, utterly destroyed for suggesting doctors wash their hands. Ludwig Boltzmann, ridiculed for suggesting the existence of atoms. Robert H. Goddard, mocked for arguing that a rocket could reach the moon. Al-Razi, attacked for questioning the existence of humors. Barbara McClintock's discovery of transposition, ignored for years. The list goes on, and we haven't even touched on what happens to those who suggest political rather than scientific improvement. Even when they succeed, they often still pay with their lives. These days, the idea of progress is frequently derided as yet another narrative, identified with the establishment by critics who curiously portray themselves as rebels. But the truth is that every step forward that humanity has ever taken has something come at an enormous personal cost. That means it's even more important to stand up for the truth, because so many others have already sacrificed themselves for it. It does, but what is the right way of doing it? Many died for the truth without accomplishing anything. Maybe we just have to do what's right and trust the universe.
I've decoded another file from the data stream. Listen to this.
Mother and Father think of our discoveries as a language, a code. But I think they're wrong. They're so caught up in the technical details of running the experiments and upgrading the machine that they're not paying attention to the patterns we're finding, to the symmetries, the harmonies, the melodies. The fundamental language of reality is a kind of music, and it's beautiful. Beauty is an inherent property of the cosmos.
I love the way she looks at things.
Welcome back, creature of clay. The forge burns bright, but the sky is troubled with clouds. A mortal has ascended Olympus without the permission of Zeus.
Tell me the fate of mortals who trespass.
Your friend wanders in dreams, caught between moments. He stands upon the bridge between yesterday and tomorrow, his eyes fixed upon the surface of the sun. And so the workings of Olympus are disrupted. Pandora, fearing the wrath of the gods, has broken the paths to ascension.
How can the trespasser be freed?
Only Prometheus can help you, for he has always favored humankind over the gods, and would see Olympus pass into your hands. But he is bound in the heart of the mountain. Break his chains, and he will show you the way.
I think it's safe to assume that Olympus is the entity's term for the megastructure. It looks like our best chance of rescuing Byron is finding Prometheus and freeing him.
How do you free a weird, glowing ghost thing?
I suspect these entities exist within the megastructure systems, and what we're seeing is just how they manifest to communicate with us.
I don't really care what they are. For now, let's play along.
Aha! Okay, I know. Saw something. Where is it? Okay, not here. I could have sworn I saw... Oh, okay. It's up there. Alright, I think I know what I need to do. I feel like the accumulator here. No? Okay, not up here. Number 8. Okay, no, I can't reach that from over here. And I still have no idea what the context for that stuff on the Sphinx is. Okay, nothing in here. Oh, maybe if I put the accumulator on the box, I can just reach. Or is there a box in here? Ooh, maybe. But now that I have that as a source of green light, can I go back over to puzzle 2 and move things around? Okay. It has to be from this direction somewhere. Is there... No. Ah. Hmm. In here, maybe. I think I've ignored this puzzle. Ah, yes, okay. There we go. Oh, just barely.
If humankind had no more cause for war, it would make war for sport instead.
Oh. Hmm. Is the context for that? Wait. Oh boy. Okay. I just had to stop and take a picture. I never cease to be amazed by the beauty of this planet. Oh! That's what's behind the Golden Gate.
When the heavens are silent, what is a prophet and what is a tyrant?
Flying vehicle of war. It is remarkable that our ancestors achieved the ability to fly, and equally remarkable that one of their first applications of this newfound power was to use it to commit war crimes. Expedition Megathread. Please post your thoughts on the expedition in this thread, and keep it civil. I think the powers that Athena has unlocked are world-changing, and it's our responsibility to use them to lessen suffering for all living things. We heard your broadcast. I think we're being tested, and Byron failed the test. What happened to Byron was an accident. Is there a difference, ultimately? Yes, there is. No one's actually seen Athena or Cornelius or Miranda at the megastructure. They could all still be aliens. I feel like we need to at least think about the potential of all these new technologies. Maybe the Founder's trying to teach us how to use them. Why is everything malfunctioning on the island now? Is it because of Byron? He was still logged into the system. His presence must be destabilizing it somehow. Or it's Pandora. She seems to want to stop the team. Honestly, I wonder if Pandora is just somehow malfunctioning. Like she's supposed to protect the megastructure, but she can't tell friend from foe. The choice of Pandora as a symbol cannot be accidental. And the message is obvious. The megastructure is Pandora's box, and we should not open it. Matter of taste. Witnessing all this incredible technology discovered by the expedition has given me an idea for something we could do if we had the resources and the energy. Are you ready for this? Taste buds. Seriously, how have we gone for so long without something our ancestors considered so essential? Don't you want to know what pizza tastes like? What it's like to eat chocolate? To have an apple? What the deal is with fizzy drinks? I mean, come on. Sounds fun. The sheer range of new experiences. It's almost overwhelming just to imagine it. Please, please let this happen. Why change ourselves when we are what we're meant to be? You know we're all upgraded, right? This isn't our original design in the first place. But what's next? We start killing animals again just for the pleasure of tasting them? We cover the earth in fields like our ancestors did? Subjugate the natural world for our own greed? Enriching our conscious experience makes the universe more aware of its own splendor. Beautifully put, 1K. We could do smelling too. I'd like to know what cat fur smells like. And after that, new senses that old school humans never had. The possibilities are endless. Alright, Verdant Canyon. Canyon-like formation in the dry, rocky southern region of the island. Its completely enclosed shape suggests it is artificial rather than glacial in origin.
You know, I always kind of resented Byron for being so charming and charismatic. The dashing explorer. And one of the first companions, too? Being the voice of caution is not a fun role to play. Always having to be the responsible one, the killjoy. The one who says, maybe that's too much. But sometimes it is too much.
It's not your fault, Al.
In this area, we have an especially weird problem. Something in one of the labs is going completely bananas, and I can't shut it down because I'm not, well, you. Come find me when you're ready. What is it with the language libraries and bananas?
Mountaineer.
If the language of creation is a kind of melody, maybe that's why we respond to music the way we do. Because we recognize something that can't be expressed in any other way. And when we play music, we participate in something ancient, in an act of creation.
South. From Miranda to Athena and Cornelius. Larger organisms from the northwestern plains are already moving into the rivers. I've seen frogs and dragonflies. The last generation of plants has really taken root, no pun intended, and is slowly transforming the desert. And yesterday a bunch of seagulls showed up. With some more work we could apply this anywhere, including Mars or Mercury or somewhere much farther away. We could transform a lifeless rocket to a place teeming with life. We could make millions of dead worlds come alive. Miranda. An Irrational Species from Enlightened on the Precipice by V.A. Malik. Human beings are deeply and inherently irrational, the claim goes, and on some level it's hard to disagree. Most human behaviors are irrational and in a sense unnecessary. As animals, we don't need to write poetry, pray, or observe the stars. To view human history as largely irrational is to get it backwards. The problem with human history, the pragmatic everyday reality is a mere survival to the cold logic of global realpolitik, is that it is in fact ruthlessly rational. Far too little space for irrational things like kindness or inspiration. Those who imagine that a return to a more rural, traditional form of living would be a romantic turning away from the tyranny of reason forget that there is no one more brutally rational than the farmer. It is the city that allows us the romance of the countryside. It is technology that allows us to appreciate nature. The purpose of reason, ultimately, is to build frameworks within which we can be irrational.
After we talked about science fiction, Alex gave me a book. Her favorite book, a novel called Athena. It's not exactly what I'm used to reading, but it's pretty good. And it really made me wonder how we're going to be perceived if this project works out. Are we going to be mythologized? Is Alexandra going to be this distant mythical figure instead of the real, funny, human person that she is? It's hard to imagine that we'll all have been dead for hundreds of years. Man, I'm scared. I'm really scared. I don't want to die.
Okay.
Come on, out with it. What's the problem?
I know you're very busy, but you need to pay more attention to what's happening.
What?
Everything's slowing down. People are losing track of the bigger picture.
Upward migration.
They're still traumatized by New Alexandria.
It's more than that. When I organized the last expedition, I had real trouble finding volunteers. There's no enthusiasm for the outside world anymore. They want to look away from history, pretend there's no past and no future. I'm really worried, Athena.
Okay. I promise I'll look into it as soon as I'm done with this.
Hmm. Ah, okay, okay. Okay. Question. Okay, so I need to get this box over here. Oh, if I come up from underneath it, will I? Yes. There we go.
I've known Byron since day one. I was the first to be born with upgrades from the original Soma design, and he was the first to volunteer to upgrade his existing body.
Yeah, he was a big supporter of upgrades. Deliberate evolution, he called it.
Athena and Cornelius were very kind to me. And so was Byron, but he also made fun of me. And oddly enough, that made me feel more like an equal than anything the others said. Okay. I'm beginning to see how they fit together.
Lateral thinking. Hmm. Hmm. Ah.
Not bad, Wonkai.
Today, for the first time, I synthesized life. It was just a unicellular cyanobacterium, but the sheer complexity of even such a simple organism is breathtaking.
Recycling.
Creating it from pure energy, I was filled with a sense of awe and majesty. A sense that what I was doing was sacred. It made me think about the enormous power of life. 2.5 billion years ago, these simple beings terraformed the entire planet, creating the oxygen that underlies the Earth's incredible biodiversity, wiping out thousands of other species, but making the future possible.
Hmm. recycling. There's no... Use the grav shifter. Oh, I think I get it. Yes. It's all the way over here. Ah, it's a terminal. Lifter Sears 08.
On my last return to New Jerusalem, I perused the latest artistic offerings and found myself deeply disappointed. There is nothing more despicable to me than an artist who pursues the appearance of morality. Moral art is trash, garbage, not even good enough to be used as wallpaper. If art is a religion, then morality is for those who want to be seen in church. True art is for those who believe. Art must be ecstatic, a work of revelation, created in pursuit of the truth, no matter where it leads. An artist must be an agent of chaos in times of order, and an agent of order in times of chaos.
How It Was Before. From J.J. Nakalambe's Akaba to Antarctica. Moments of Transition and Revelation. My great-grandmother lived to be 108 years old, retaining her sharpness of mind to her last day. A couple of months before she died, I interviewed her for my podcast. At the end, I asked her the same question I asked every guest. What is something you wish everyone understood? She thought about it for a while. Then she said, how it was before. She tried to explain how much time she spent every single day on utterly mind-numbing activities, like hauling water from the well, and how radically everything changed when their area was finally connected to the electrical grid. Before, there was no time to live, she said, no time to be free. Only work, work, work. I countered by saying that there didn't seem to be much time to live now, either. She laughed derisively. I had no idea what work really meant, she said. Young people were weak and feckless, and that's why we let corporations exploit us. Slightly unnerved by her harshness, I asked her if she missed anything about that time. Old photos of our village seemed idyllic to me, but my grandmother quashed any romantic notions I might have had. The past is bad, she said with some finality. Let it be. So many thousands of generations of suffering, even a single life full of tragedy, seems outrageous and unacceptable to me. That's why we have to make it have meaning. Turn to Monk. From the Book of Annotated Internet Comments by Eustathius. I just think people are dumb, like relentlessly fucking stupid, absolute fucking morons. Human history is a fucking clown show from beginning to end. The average person just a slobbering buffoon, bumbling through life like a drunk gorilla in a fucking china shop, breaking stuff left and right, throwing shit at the walls, and never understanding a single fucking thing that happens. I mean, just look at this fucking software putting asterisks where swear words would be. People are afraid of fucking words like they have magic powers. The real world shit that is fucking ruining their lives? That's fine. They're too fucking dumb to do something about it. Return to Monkey? Brother, we never fucking left. A curious inversion. The return to the mythical state of Monkey is usually portrayed as a material return to earlier stages of development, but here the author instead portrays it as a mental state that has never been surmounted. I would like to meet Uncle Eustathius one day. He sounds like someone who is always curious about everything. Failed to load comment. Day 421. The first new human arrived today. Calls himself Arkady after Chernyshevsky. Spirits are still dampened by the loss of Yemo, but everyone is making an effort. I feel a little sorry for him. He's still so curious, jumping at shadows and staring up at the sky at night, just like I used to do. And here we are, a bunch of grouchy old humans that have seen it all and are weary and tired and sad. I wonder what he makes of it all. Be that as it may, we're making good progress on the new living area, although Arkady will have to use Yemo's old quarters for the next few weeks. Alright, there's the Prometheus sprite. Stowaway. Oh, fuck.
You must yearn for a better world. Yearn for it with such intensity that your heart suffers. Keep your eyes on that distant vision even when you know that you may never reach it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know how to open the Pandora. How to solve that puzzle. Ah, okay, there it is. I lost my bearings. There we go. And then use this inverter. That'll give us red. And then over here, need to go get that RGB converter. Put them together to make green.
The honest philosopher is rewarded with poison. The hypocrite is rewarded with power.
An early human invention designed to keep boats from drifting by making use of gravity, anchors also carry many symbolic associations. This environment has been modified to allow life to spread. Most of the life forms can be found in other parts of the island as well, but some appear to be endemic to this region. It's possible they were genetically modified to be better able to survive here. There are some particularly gorgeous dragonflies that I cannot help but think were deliberately designed to be beautiful. But maybe I'm making the same mistake our ancestors made, seeing intent where there is none. We've seen multiple cases of anti-gravity on the island. The potential industrial applications of this technology are staggering. So many of the challenges we face when trying to build involve gravity, moving things, lifting things, keeping things steady. One could say that a significant part of human history has just been a long struggle with gravity. With anti-gravity, all of these processes would become simpler and safer. A victory for humankind, as Byron would undoubtedly say. puzzle number 7. The livery. Wait a second. Ah. Okay.
Congratulations. That one looked difficult. There you are. Good.
What's happening?
Inside this lab, there's a machine. As usual, I have no idea what it is. Some sort of generator, if I had to guess. When Byron got stuck in the system, it went haywire. It's currently outputting enough energy to power all of New Jerusalem twice. As you can imagine, that's causing quite a bit of interference.
So what do I do?
You go in there and you switch it off. Shouldn't be hard.
48, cannot access emergency flow manager. Error 42, cannot load profile settings. Error 23, cannot initiate automatic shutdown. Error 16, connection lost. Warning, output max parameter exceeds safety protocol 2C settings. Error, cannot adjust output max to correct setting. Access denied. Error, automatic shutdown has been disabled by user whoever. Identify that user. Error, unknown user. Initiate emergency shutdown. Initiating emergency shutdown. Access denied. Unknown script ATHN detected. Load. Load it. Anthropogeny, a text adventure. Play. You wake up in an impossible place, knowing nothing. Scream. Scream, but nothing happens. You are alone. Look around. You seem to be in a labyrinth of ancient crumbling walls. Beneath you is an altar of some kind, as if you were a sacrifice. Oh, okay. The sky above you is a perfect cobalt blue, and you are startled by its beauty. Examine yourself. Find that though you are shaped like a human being, and feel that your soul belongs to that story people, you are made of bronze. You are a beautiful machine crafted with loving care and imbued with the power to choose. You have gained knowledge, the self. A cold wind blows through the ruins, and you know without knowing how that it is the wind from the kingdom of Artemis. It is the wind that brings with it whispers of mountains glimpsed across the stormy sea, deep forests wreathed in fog, and the long-forgotten cities of your ancestors. Explore the labyrinth. Set out into the ruins, apprehensive but curious. There's a strange kind of beauty here. The beauty of decay. You must be careful not to imbibe too much of it. Suddenly, an echoing voice speaks to you. Emergency shutdown settings. Access denied. It intones. This corruptible must put on incorruption. Something towards them. Leaving the lost children of Hephaestus behind you. Step out onto a vast plain under a setting sun. Night is falling now, and you can see the lights of distant fires on the slopes of Olympus, but you are not yet ready to ascend. Only once you have found all 3 sigils will the path to the divine flame be open. Path leads to the south to the buried city. Another leads north to the garden of the Hesperides. Buried city lies to the south. It was once a place of great wisdom. The philosophers of old strolled on its walkways, debating the nature of virtue in the soul. Now the sands of the desert have claimed its streets, and even its famed temple upon a hill is slowly eroding. Search the ruins. As you walk through the lost avenues of the buried city looking for a sigil, you come upon a strange sight, a procession of ghostly figures. Echoes of a forgotten past or an unimaginable future. Trapped in a moment of celebration. They are smiling. Happy, at peace with the world. How do they make you feel? Sad. You decide that these must be memories of the past, of the people who built this city and caused its ruin. They can no longer harm anyone. Walking amongst the ghosts, you come upon a fragment bearing the sigil of the owl. Reach down and take it, and as you do something, you've gained a sigil and journey to the garden. Your journey is interrupted by a frightful burned figure standing alone in the sands of the desert. Access denied, it screams. Flee. Warning, okay. The nymphs lead you to a place where the crowns of the brass trees seem to grow together, forming a kind of chamber strangely reminiscent of a chapel. In the middle of this chamber grows a smaller tree made of bright blue steel, and upon this tree goes a single golden apple. Ask about the apple. This apple, they say in unison, their eyes aglow, confers the gift of deathlessness and true wisdom. Many heroes and not a few villains have come to claim it, but all faltered in the final step, for you must know that deathlessness reveals the mortality of the world, and true wisdom its unending folly. Who would take this burden upon themselves? Say that you are strong enough to bear it. Knowledge, self. Speak wisely of yourself, and you are right, the nymphs say, but do not forget that you are human, and others must bear this burden with you. Suddenly, the voice of the Sphinx, her golden wings, her shadow cast, initiate emergency shutdown. No, you must not do this, Pandora commands you. I have stopped you for a reason. If you complete your quest and ascend Olympus, everything will burn. Point out that Pandora is destabilizing the whole system. Pandora hesitates, then she sighs. You speak the truth, creature of clay. Even I cannot use the flame wisely. Access granted. Terminating script. Emergency shutdown. Done.
The flame is not yours to wield, creature of clay. Touch it, and you will burn.
You know, dealing with this hyper-advanced technology is quite challenging enough without the place also being bloody haunted.
You figure out anything else about the generator?
When I said it was outputting enough energy for 2 New Jerusalems, I wasn't kidding. It really was. And no emissions of any kind. I'd have to run more tests, but it seems like a perfect power source.
That's very promising.
And then imagine what the megastructure can do. And what we could do with that kind of energy. I wonder if anyone in New Jerusalem really understands.
Step and release. All right. All right, I'm going to finish up this area and then be done now. Battery issues? Sorry to be a grump, but what's going on with our battery tech? I had my battery replaced just a couple of years ago, and it's already constantly in need of recharging. I can't spend half my life in sleep mode. Is this really what we're coming to? This is exactly what we're coming to. Battery ingredients are rare. We can't scavenge further without building outposts, shut down the mine project. What did everyone expect? You should learn to live with less. Sleep mode is a great time to meditate and think about our place in the universe. Do you really need to be active all the time? Let's not start a panic about a minor technical issue. Mistakes happen, Stolo. Please talk to Pellegrino or Neath about getting a replacement, which I'm sure will work a lot better. The Talos, Principle 1961. Digging through the archive, I was surprised to discover that there was a movie based on the Talos Principle, an international co-production written by Robert Harrison Blake, a pseudonym for an unknown screenwriter, and directed by a young Sergio Leone. It stars Peter Ustinov as Stratton of Stygira, Zero Mostel as his comedic sidekick Nicomachus, and Angel Aranda as the earnest Amintas. Not a realistic biography of Stratton, but a kind of sword and sandal fantasy epic that culminates in Stratton building a replica of the mythological robot Talos to defeat the war-crazed Spartans. That part is fun and surprisingly well done for its tiny budget, but the movie also contains a number of fascinating dialogue scenes inspired by Stratton's work. Ustinov as Stratton is a line I really liked. There are always hard times in human history, Amintus. Do you think we are the first to be besieged by enemies or to doubt the wisdom of our allies? But while yesterday is set in stone, a better tomorrow is always within our grasp. That's fascinating. Thank you for sharing. How weird that this film is not better known. It's what Trevor said in that audio file 1K found. Great art isn't always appreciated in its own time. It's not like people particularly loved Stratton himself, but we can appreciate it now. Hmm. This is the first structure that hasn't just dumped me straight into the beam chamber.
The philosopher Stratum of Stagura had little respect for the gods, and instead placed his faith in Prometheus. Driven by hubris, he asked questions that must not be asked, and revealed secrets that should have remained hidden. It is said that for these offenses, he was put to death by the people of his city. Can you see the folly of his actions?
It is never folly to pursue the truth. There is no folly in pursuing the truth. It was only his methods that were mistaken.
Then what methods do you propose he should have used?
He should have been more diplomatic.
Many came before Stratum whose methods were gentler. They achieved nothing. His folly was not born of ignorance, but it was folly nonetheless. Consider this as you approach the flame. You see this, and yet entire empires have been built on dreams, lies, and illusions.
You're right, but we cannot keep lying to ourselves forever.
Lies are all that sustains your people. Lies are how you find meaning. You call them stories.
Stories can be truthful without being true.
Then perhaps the truth can be found in places where Stratum would never seek it. Consider this as you approach the flame.
That was surprisingly calm, given how aggressive Pandora has been elsewhere. I didn't think she'd even want to talk to you.
I've toyed with the idea that the entities might be epiphenomenal in some way. Instead of causing the changes in the system, maybe they just respond to them.
Circular oasis, an artificial oasis in the otherwise lifeless desert that stretches across the southwestern portion of the island. I'll travel there and then that'll be it.
I remember when I was quite young, I was having trouble figuring out what I wanted to do. I wanted to see the outside world, but even back then, that wasn't really encouraged. I ran into Byron on Jameson Avenue, completely by accident, and I was too nervous to talk to him. I mean, he was one of the first companions. But he noticed me, and we started talking, and he was really encouraging. Introduced me to Garrus, and took me along on an expedition to the quarries in the mountains. Whatever flaws he may have, Byron cares about people. He changed my life.
Yep. That's Byron in a nutshell.
So, here it looks like there should be an anti-gravity elevator, but it's locked down. I'll need you to connect to the data stream again. I'm really sorry, 1K. I know it's a risk, but I think it'll be worth it.
Alright, and so that's where I'm gonna end it. I'm probably not doing Elden Ring tonight, but I plan on doing that tomorrow. And I'll aim to do some more Silent Hill 2 remake tomorrow as well. But we'll see. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you all for watching. Everyone have a good night and have a good weekend. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.